are 30 miles north of Detroit, where championships have been won. This is the Palace of Auburn Hills, and tonight, 22,000 strong, they are on hand. There is not a seat to be had in this building. It's a huge game for big stars like Jason Kidd, his first Game 7. Ben Wallace has been here before, others with one last word before 4 great ones. Game 7 is next. This is the 2,745th NBA playoff game. 88 of them have been Game 7. Indiana has survived. They get the winner of this Game 7. As you look at the McDonald's brackets, we are one away from determining the NBA Final Four. It's Game 7, Pistons and Nets. Good evening, everyone. Welcome.
They want to know each other. In fact, they don't like each other right now. And the energy of the building to lift this team, to give them more lives than New Jersey.
For free throws, who's going to make them? Who's going to limit their turnovers? Who's going to get extra possessions via steals and offensive rebounds? Whoever does a better job of those categories can have a great chance to win tonight.
Detroit won more games in the regular season, thus they are the home team for Game 7. They've earned this through 82 games of a hard schedule. And on the Bud Light starting lineups, the same 10 men who started this entire series. Jefferson, Martin, and Collins in the Nets front court. Tayshaun Prince, who has struggled, with Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace, the great shot blocker, in the middle. The backcourts, so important. If Detroit is to win, Chauncey Billups and Richard Hamilton must take them there against Jason Kidd, the best pure point guard in the league, and Kerry Kittles. There is nothing like the atmosphere for a Game 7. The sounds and sights are unique. We'll let the fans of the Palace and the intense faces of these 10 players take you to tip-off of Game 7. Danny Crawford, the crew chief, throws it up. The Nets in the road blues start with it. Jason Kidd, who told me this morning that 3 days of rest has helped that bone bruise in his knee. Rasheed Wallace is playing with a bad foot. Kenyon Martin goes right at him for the first basket of the game. Hamilton coming off the excellent Game 6, where he led Detroit in points and forced the Game 7 with a road win in New Jersey on Sunday. The turnover, and here's transition with Kittles. 4 early points for the Nets has quieted the sellout crowd.
Yeah, who's going to give you a wild card making some shots? And both teams need that to win this game.
Kidd and Martin both had some rest for their knee injuries. They are essential, and their health is essential to this team. Jefferson on the nice cut hit that little mid-range shot.
Well, I always want to see in big games who starts out hot and who starts out cold. Because if you start out cold, each shot or play becomes incrementally harder. And we'll see if guys who start out cold in the first quarter are able to pick up the nose and get back on their game in the last 3 quarters.
Rasheed Wallace bangs for position, made a bad pass. Here come the Nets in transition. Right back to Kidd. Jefferson to Martin. Beautiful job by Kenyon Martin getting it right back to Jason Kidd. The decision maker picked the right one.
I think every basketball fan knows that running is New Jersey style. Here's a steal. Jason Kidd runs it up. Both make good touch passes, and they finish with the dunk, which energizes New Jersey.
From Kenyon Martin, the former #1 pick out of Cincinnati 4 years ago.
She didn't look all that enthused about going to get that ball, did he, with 4 seconds left on the shot clock?
I thought he thought it was
let me
going
go
out of
get it.
bounds.
Let me shoot it.
He was having a word there with Eddie F. Rush, who works the game along with Ron Garrettson and Dan Crawford. These 3 officials, 59 years in the league. Together, they've worked 25 NBA Finals games, over 350 playoff games. They've been through Game 7 a bunch of times, and they know what it takes to do the right thing. Jefferson, a 2. Richard Jefferson, who has been a breakthrough performer this season. Averaged 18.5 in the regular season, and he's upped it to 20 a game in the playoffs. There's lurking. Pistons ball under the Nets basket.
Well, I was talking earlier about how big this guy is. I mean, he goes in, he took a hit from Ben Wallace last time. This time, outside of the 21 feet. I mean, he's really improved his range.
How many people do you think had that game?
How many people at the game?
Yeah.
They might have hit triple digits.
Wallace, a 3. And the rebound by Kidd, trying to force the issue on him. This Kenyon Martin is right at Rasheed Wallace.
That's nice. That was powerful.
That was impressive.
He'll be called for the personal foul. Third on the Nets, none on Detroit, and that's 2 on Kittles.
This is, I'm coming at you, stop me. And that is awesome. I mean, that's a big fella coming at you. Wow. And most guys, that ball would have been blocked.
That's good offense and good defense. Yeah. That's both good. I mean, that's what you want Walls to do.
A timeout at 2.5 left. The Kerry Kittles' second personal foul, first significant foul story. And when he does that, it makes this team much tougher.
Go figure. Rip Hamilton, 0 for 3. Ben Wallace, 3 for 3. You know what? You can see in his eyes how much more confident he is this year in taking that shot.
Kittles at 2. Nets in need of offense. Get it from the man with the longest tenure as a New Jersey Net. 7th year out of Villanova. For the 14th time in 25 quarters in regulation in this series, the New Jersey Nets were held under 20. They score 14. A big run by the Pistons after the first few minutes have fired up the home fans. It's game 7, where the home team all-time is 72-15, and a 17-4 run at the end of the first as Detroit +7 after 12 minutes. Ben averaging 2.5 assists per playoff game, up from 1 3/4 in the regular season. When your stats go up in the playoffs, that means you're really good. Yeah. Every possession is so much more difficult. Rogers a 3. The only man with Game 7 experience for the Nets missed it. Jason Collins inside, got it to go.
Well, it was a nice job using that big body and backing Ben Wallace off. Because I think Wallace was going to go up and try to block that shot. Collins put his butt into him, moved him out of the way, and then made the shot easier for him.
Just Collins' 3rd field goal in the last 5 games. Very aggressive with his shots tonight. He missed. Not great floor balance, but the Pistons are able to get back.
Well, it's funny. Rip Hamilton, the king of the mid-range, has made a layup and a 3 and missed every shot in mid-range.
Rodney Rogers put it on the floor, but he saw Williamson and explodes to the goal. And Larry Brown saying, Memento Court, what are you thinking about? You got to be there to protect the rim.
But what happened on that play is you saw Jason
and give Corliss Williamson a 3rd assist as well. Somebody has to want to shoot, and Jefferson answers the call, as he's done since the All-Star game on. Richard Jefferson, who is going to play for Larry Brown in the Olympics in Athens this summer.
This is danger area right here for New Jersey, and if you're Lawrence Frank, you miss here and they make. Can't be afraid to call timeouts.
Kittles diving, lost it. On the run, it's Prince. Jefferson trying to stop him. Kick in the corner. Chauncey for 3. And the rebound by Martin. Hit on a push. Transition chance for Kittles. What a play! He lost the handle, spinning around. He put it back in.
All the things that the home court brings to a team: energy, confidence, intimidation, intensity.
Detroit trying to extend the largest lead of the night. They're up 13. It's Hamilton for 2. Hit on the push with Kittles. Good tip by Jefferson. Also a good job of Rasheed Wallace contesting the shot, but not picking up the 3rd foul.
It was a great job by Jefferson following the play. You never assume whether it's a layup or not, the shot's going to be made.
Run something for Hamilton. Off the Wallace screen. It was covered well by Jason Kidd. Tayshaun Prince with Jefferson legally leaning on him. Big block. You know Prince is a lefty. Doesn't go right often. Played it well. Transition 2 for Kittles. There you go. A couple of bang-bangs in transition. And Larry Brown will get a 22nd after the Pistons take it across midcourt.
I can't remember the last time New Jersey scored in the half court, but they do score in the open court.
12 break points for New Jersey. Of their 30 tonight, 92 seconds before halftime. And we get to halftime. So the lead is 12. reminding you that no team has erased a dozen-point deficit at halftime of Game 7 to come back and win. Jason Kidd and the Nets held in check with just 31 first-half points. Here's Michelle with Richard Hamilton.
Rip, the plan coming in was to slow down their
home team has won 5 out of every 6 Game 7s in NBA history. It's the 6th Game 7 in Detroit Pistons franchise history. They're up 12, 24 minutes from a date with Indiana in the Eastern Conference Finals.
The New Jersey Nets trying to find a way to get back in this ball game. They trail by 12 points at the half. Game 7, somebody is headed to Indiana to take on the Pacers. Meanwhile, a little NBA news. Eric.
Kerry Kittles inside the first Nets field goal of the half. They were 0 of their first 8 here in the third.
Yep.
Was the defensive player of the year, was unhappy that he didn't win defensive player of the year, won by Ron Artest in Indiana when Rick Carlisle did a great job. Rick is so good for his guys, had his staff put together stats to show how great Artest was defensively. Inside, Aaron Williams gets the dunk there. That stat package is part of the reason, along with the great play of Ron Artest. Fans would be so afraid when Wallace would take a shot last year. It's like you'd see them take the fetal position in unison. No, don't shoot. But he has gained confidence this year because of what you said as Kenyon Martin scores.
I mean, early on, he just didn't have the confidence. Another turnover.
Hamilton the steal. Wallace booted it as they were trying to get the fast break. Kenyon Martin lost corners. Williamson got inside and will have a chance for a three-point play. Michelle?
Well, Lawrence Frank has to be happy with that aggressiveness. What is it like to be in a huddle with Jason Kidd, who is sitting on a heating pad, by the way, for that lower back that is hurting, and with a team that is down by this many? And the first thing Lawrence Frank said to his team in that last timeout was, we have one choice, and that is to keep fighting. He drew up some plays, but
the largest fourth quarter comeback in a Game 7 in NBA history, 15 points. Lakers get it to Portland. The numbers a little bigger here tonight. It is a 23-point Detroit Piston lead. A dominant quarter. They've kept the Nets in the teens all 3 quarters. Do it again. You'll see Indiana in the conference finals. Everybody you listen to will tell you Jason Kidd didn't want to play for Byron Scott anymore. Forced the issue. The coaching changes made to Lawrence Frank. Wallace finally misses. And when you have a team that got to the Eastern Finals and won 2 years in a row and doesn't get back to that level this year, criticism will be going somewhere. Rodney Rogers at 3 to make it 20. Some will point it to Jason Kidd for forcing the coaching issue.
Most guys are around, I'd say 3 or 4. So I mean, it's a financial decision. And you said, remember the one time an owner decided to keep a coach instead of a player. Golden State with Melly and Chris Webber, and that thing unraveled. And you see the GM right there, the New Jersey Nets, Rod Torrance. But that's the situation in the NBA. You better have your back of your best player.
Jason Kidd 0 for 7. Rodney Rogers has hit back-to-back threes and getting close. This is what you talked about, Tom. It's within 17 and nearly a turnover that Mike James chases down for Detroit. And Larry Brown doesn't like the way things are going here. Back-to-back threes have cut it. So he takes the timeout. 9:48 to go. The Nets showing a last sign of life. Ben Wallace has been the offensive king for the Pistons here tonight with 18 points, missing just 2 field goals. Richard Hamilton doesn't have a field goal in the half. Chauncey Billups hit the deck hard. And here are the Nets in transition. Jefferson, 15-point game with 9:10 to go.
We talked about a little earlier.
They said it was on the shot, but they got together. Eddie F. Rush, Ronnie Garrettson, and Dan Crawford. It was on the pass. And so it will be inbounded by the Nets. 2 team fouls on the Pistons. None on the Nets. 7 minutes to go. And the lead, 22. Rodney Rogers has had a nice quarter and a nice game. You know, a team that plays their style of basketball, a lot of defense, low-scoring game, is not a very attractive team to watch on a national scale. You love seeing Sacramento and those teams put up great numbers. But in this city, a city that still has blue-collar roots and a great appreciation for hard work, as Kenyon Martin gets that to go, 20-point game. They've got Kristic, who's set to come over from overseas, who they've had on their roster drafted back a year plus ago. And you have the expansion draft coming up where you must protect players. The Charlotte Bobcats will be picking at rosters. Kerry Kittles could perhaps be the player left unprotected. So a lot of off-season issues ahead for the Nets. Hamilton gunned up the triple. And back come the Nets the other way with Jefferson, who lost it. Rasheed Wallace goaltending as he blocked the Kerry Kittles layup attempt.
But I think the Nets are in good shape. I still think they're a quality team in the East and give them a lot of credit. I mean, they had 2 years, a tremendous 2 years. Team up short against a better team this year.
No one's going to score over 80 points.
Kittles, the mate.
I think 70.
I think it's a grind, a possession, low possession.
Kicked it to Scalabrine for 3. It's off the mark. There'll be a new champion in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. And Detroit, your Pistons are going back to the conference finals. $90-69, the final score. Jason Kidd without a point in this decisive Game 7. Goes over to see Larry Brown, who he has worked with USA Basketball. A lot of respect from these people. Larry Brown now 5-3 in his NBA career in Game 7s as well. Michelle with Richard Hamilton.
Rip, if someone had told
Michelle, the top 2 seeds from the Western Conference have made it to the finals. The top 2 records in the East. Indiana and Detroit will meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. SportsCenter will come up in a little bit. We're going to take you for the end of overtime, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia. For George Carl, Tom Tobin, Michelle Tafoya, Mike Torino. See you for Saturday Game 1 of the Eastern Finals. Thanks for watching this presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Pistons win in 7. Now to Gary Thorne, Bill Clement. Overtime, Game 6.